think that Campbell's knack was for seeing patterns that are underlying stories. Obviously, he mostly focused on myths as those stories, but we can apply that same lens of pattern finding to our own lives. And more importantly, related to Campbell and mythology, we can understand that the stories and myths that we read are us and we are them. And the depth of that understanding about how we connect to these gives us a different view of the world, a connectivity to people across places and times that I think is very valuable in any time frame that we live in. So really his pattern recognition power is what makes it an incredible journey to go along with him and see how he did it and how he can teach us how to do it. Well, as with any scholar, they are bound by place and time, and they are a product in many ways of the culture that they're coming out of. And that puts certain limitations, certain things that are important to that time onto them and their ideas. Even if they are forward-looking and attempt to be timeless, there's always a time-bound and place-bound quality to them. And I think that as we've gone forward past Campbell's death, that there are other aspects of the monomyth and the hero's journey that we saw, well, maybe he didn't address, maybe of his time he wasn't quite ready to be exploring those, but we are now, and kind of living in the spirit of that detection of patterns and that seeing of the story in us and us in the story makes us more able to expand on what he did, that basic monomythic pattern, and see the collective journey, see the heroine's journey and other patterns that he, through inclination or just the place and time he lived in, did not or could not evaluate himself. So we're lucky to live in the legacy that he began, but also expand and make it broader for our time. Well, the basic idea of the solo hero, I think we examine that in this course, and it's very important to do that because sometimes the idea of heroism tends to boost ego as well. And at its depths, the hero's journey is not about ego boosting or pride or anything that the heroic idea as it's in modern culture tends to make it. It really is about this journey of how to devote self to other. And within that, I think kind of collaborative and collective working with others is a key part of that. And understanding what one's strengths and weaknesses are in relation to others is important. So I think that's a key interpretation that for the 21st century we are doing in this course and needs to be done with Campbellian scholarship in general. I think another critique that's very fair is that he was a product of his time as far as understanding of gender roles. And although in some ways he was forward-looking, I think that it's important that the heroine's journey also is examined and how being a hero is different than being a heroine, and honestly how both of those can be embodied in what is designated as a male or female body. So kind of the nuance of both of those things I think is very important. Another critique of Campbell is kind of essentialism, is that everyone has X or Y qualities or everyone is doing a hero's journey. And I think that the nuance of how exactly that's played out and the differences that are available there, the kind of pluralistic idea, also is a very 21st century idea that needs to be filtered into our lens of how we look at Campbell these days. But in general, I think so many of those ideas, even though based in modernism, can be applied and reinterpreted through the lenses of the modern day scholarship. Well, if you know anything about the world of academia, Pacifica Graduate Institute is unique in having the programs devoted to depth psychology and mythology. And basically, if you want to learn Campbell and myth in a graduate setting, they're the only game in town. So for the Joseph Campbell Foundation, who particularly looks at myth through the lens of Joseph Campbell's work and the advancement of that, to have this partnership, I think, is an incredible strengthening of both of those angles that allows for students to learn about myth from Campbell's particular perspective and how it's evolved, and in conjunction with the amazing scholarship and honestly the superstructure that's there from Pacifica Graduate Institute to do an online course and to have the interactivity that it has. So it's a very powerful combination. Another factor about the Joseph Campbell Foundation staff is that we are not monolithic. We have people who themselves have been attended and graduated from Pacifica Graduate Institute, and other scholars who, like myself, did not get a degree from there. My degree is I have a PhD in English. So there's quite a bit of variety in the backgrounds of the people that are coming in. So it is not of one flavor only, and those various angles can bring out various nuances that the students of this course will greatly benefit from. So I think we're very lucky to be in partnership with Pacifica, and I think that the students themselves will be the primary beneficiaries of that powerful partnership.